Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that we're going to hit tonight is something that you guys asked me to hit a little bit more in depth. The 7th Circuit decides to uphold an AR ban, which is blatantly unconstitutional, and the way in which they perform the mental gymnastics leaves a lot to question what their true intent was, because this is tailor-made for the SCOTUS to take this up the way they went about this. Everything will be linked in the description box below, and I can't wait to hear what you guys think right down there in the comments field about probably one of the worst reasonings for a decision for a pro-gun control point I've seen in a while. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. And the content today is brought to you by SDI. Now, I know a lot of you out there like to modify and upgrade your own guns, and if you're looking to turn a hobby that you genuinely love into a career that you could actually make money and enjoy, Sonora and Desert Institute can help. Their online programs cover everything from gunsmithing to woodworking and finishes, ballistics, shooting, sports management, and more. Plus, all the tools and materials are shipped directly to your door. There's never been a better time to dive into something that you can actually make money of, something you're actually enjoying. So what are you waiting for? There's a link in the description box below, and thank you so much to Sonora and Desert Institute for making this content possible. Now, my brothers and sisters, before we dive into this, I want to say two things. One, I'm never going to give anything away in the comments field below, so if you've been reached to me, or if you've been reached out saying you want anything, it's a scam. Treat them accordingly. I don't have any Telegram, I don't have anything. Just saying. The other thing, I'm well aware that the manifesto of the Covington, just honestly, psychopath, has been leaked. It has not been confirmed in a bunch of different avenues. I've spent a lot of time researching today. I will make a video on it at some point, but I want to give a little bit of room and a little bit of air to validate a few of the details that I have questions around. Not saying anybody hasn't. I'm just saying personally for me, because of the ramifications involved for everything involved, I want to make sure my T's are crossed, my I's are dotted, but I will absolutely keep you updated on that. And that's kind of my point, or at least my point of view on that. So, right now, let's get back to the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals. They have upheld an AR ban because clearly it's constitutional, right? Yeah, no, it's not. This is probably one of the worst legal decisions I've seen in a while, particularly when I show you the reasons why. Now, let me show you what's going on, and we'll get at this. U.S. Appeals Court upholds Illinois' assault weapons ban. Well, this was released on November 6th. It happened on Friday. I wanted to cover the Rahimi case this morning, but some of you asked me to cover this one. Check this out. A U.S. Appeals Court on Friday upheld an Illinois state ban on assault-style weapons and high-capacity ammunition magazines enacted after the Highland Park incident. In a 2-1 vote, a 3-judge panel of the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals threw out a lower court injunction imposed against the firearms restrictions in one set of cases and affirmed decisions keeping the law intact in another batch. 2 out of 3 said, yeah, this is perfectly constitutional. That's one thing, and to be honest, not unexpected. It is the 7th Circuit after all. It's not the 9th, but it's still the 7th. The way in which they did it is the important part. Listen to this. The appellate panel held that, like other constitutionally protected freedoms, Second Amendment gun rights were subject to certain limits that can be legitimately imposed by the government. In one notable aspect of its reasoning in upholding the Illinois law, the appellate panel cited a U.S. Supreme Court opinion last year, the Bruen decision. What? The Bruen decision literally says find a historical text and tradition, an analogous situation. They can't. How'd they do that? Well, let me jump over to another source, because this is where it's important. Do you remember how I told you that in the striking down of the AR ban in California, Judge Benitez formed a perfect opinion? I mean, almost like a dissertation on how to defeat an AR ban at the SCOTUS level. It went through the circuit court in the 9th Circuit. It also got it's going to get blocked. So if you're talking, well, at least it's expected to get blocked the same way magazine bans got blocked. Be clear on that. If you follow the exact same logic and reasoning, they did the opposite in this case, these judges. These judges didn't provide anything good. In fact, they kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit. Check this out. This is from a different source. All are linked. 7th Circuit, AR-15s are not protected by the Second Amendment. So there's 2 judges. They're called Easterbrook and Wood. They constituted the panel majority in overturning the injunction. They noted that Heller, in 2008, held, quote, like most rights, the right secured by the Second Amendment is not unlimited. Now, this is important because they reference the Heller decision. The Heller decision is the precursor to the Bruin decision. Those two working together pretty much smoke gun controllers right in the kissers, right there. Nailed them right in the face, right in the jaw. They're referencing one of the strongest cases to support gun rights to infringe upon gun rights. They do it again. Check this out. They went on to note that in Heller, the Supreme Court of the United States found that machine guns were not protected under the Second Amendment because they were not bearable arms, and that is because they can be dedicated exclusively to military use. Now, they're referencing the idea of something being unusual, uncommon, rare, and dangerous is what they would call it, right? Well, the only problem with that is, and I'm sure some of you are screaming at your screen right now, the Heller decision affirmed common use, which said if something is in common use by the everyday common man, then it cannot be considered outside the scope of the Second Amendment and therefore must be protected by the scope of the Second Amendment. AR-15s, there are 25 million of them in circulation. It is beyond common use. There was a Massachusetts case, Katano, I believe is the name of the case, where I think it was 200,000 stun guns were ruled common use, if not less. It might be 20,000. I'm fuzzy on the details because it's top of mind. But legitimately, ARs are so common use that it's kind of laughable. And the fact that these judges went down and used Heller to say that limitations are acceptable and no right is unlimited, and then ignored the fact that common use was also in the Heller decision, it's kind of laughable. And I'm looking forward to hoping, or at least I hope and look forward to, if this goes to a higher level, because it's going to be appealed. Because this is pretty weak sauce. Now, they go forward and they say AR-15s and M16s are the same, which they obviously are not, shows their ignorance. That is not correct at all. But let me show you a little bit more what they said between that comparison. Quote, the similarity between the AR-15 and the M16 only increases when we take into account how easily it is to modify an AR-15 by adding a bump stock, which, by the way, coincidentally will also be discussed by the SCOTUS. They just accepted that case, just saying. Or auto-sear to it, thereby making it, in essence, a fully automatic weapon. So doing an illegal conversion makes it an automatic weapon. You can make that exact same argument about a Glock with a Glock switch. Just saying. In a decision addressing a ban on bump stocks enacted by the Maryland legislature, another federal court found that bump stock devices enable rates of fire between 400 and 800 rounds per minute. Same old argument as always. Look how fast it can fire. Doesn't matter. It's literally definition of a machine gun. One squeeze per one trigger. It's not hard. Boom, boom, bang, boom, bang, boom. That's it. Not hard. Doesn't matter how fast you can squeeze. If you can squeeze faster than 800 rounds a minute, you're a machine gun according to this definition. It's laughable. It's silly, kind of asinine. And when this goes to a next level, this is not setting up a good case for them to build support on, like the Benitez decision, which I just referenced earlier, which was a solid foundation to build a castle of freedom upon. Anyway, one more thing for you. This piece I thought was actually pretty good. This is actually the dissenting opinion, which said they're wrong. My peers are wrong. Check this out. Brennan wrote, quote, because the banned firearms and magazines warrant constitutional protection, and the government parties have failed to meet their burden to show that their bans are part of the history and tradition of firearms regulation, preliminary injunctions are justified against enforcement of the challenged laws. So that's the whole thing in itself. The two judges out of a 3-judge panel decided that it was going to be constitutional to infringe upon the Second Amendment because of what could potentially be adjusted in breaking the law to make them full auto. And they're so close to M16s. And they referenced the Heller decision. They completely negated the Bruin decision, which points to history, text, and tradition. They completely ignored all of this in order to do some mental gymnastics to get the desired outcome that they wanted. When this goes to the next level and all of these cases become one big monster case of gun control versus gun rights, they're going to have to build a case on stuff like this, and we're going to have to build cases on things like what Roger Benitez put in place. See you there, because it's going. You've got multiple circuit courts saying the exact opposite things, and then you also have an example of the bump stocks, which also just got accepted by the SCOTUS because they had 2 circuit courts saying opposite things. This is going to go to SCOTUS at some point. And that's what I've got for you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.